Which actor/actress was casted perfectly in a movie/TV show? James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano. Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid. When you read the books it's like you can hear him speaking all of his written lines. Bryan Cranston as Walter White. He didn't seem like someone I could ever take seriously as an evil dude. And that was kind of the point. Can't remember the guy's name but he plays Homelander in The Boys. Great Psycho. Michael Clarke in The Green Mile, the perfect blend of physicality, on-screen presence, and vulnerability. Watching his character I could 100% believe he could crush my head like a melon without really trying. But never would based on his performance. J.K. Simmons is the definitive J. Jonah Jameson for the entire Spider-Verse. Do the kids still say he understood the assignment? Kathy Bates Misery. Doc and Marty in Back to the Future. Nick Offerman as Ron Swanson. Hugh Laurie as Dr. House. Ian McKellen as Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl. Genetically engineered for it. Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman. Morgan Freeman as Red in The Shawshank Redemption. Tom Hanks Forrest Gump. Julie Andrews in Mary Poppins. Even had the turned-up nose. John Malkovich in Being John Malkovich. Anthony Hopkins Silence of the Lambs. Angelica Houston and Raul Julia in Addams Family films. Charles Dance as Tywin Lannister must be one of the best casted actors ever. As if he was literally born to play that role. Bryan Cranston Breaking Bad. Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark Iron Man. Perfect casting. Amy Poehler as Leslie Knope. Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Kyle MacLachlan was born to play Agent Dale Cooper. I maintain that Matthew Lillard was the absolute perfect casting for a live-action Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. Whatever you may think of those two films, that casting choice was spot on. Alan Rickman as Severus Snape. Bruce Campbell was born to play Ash in the Evil Dead franchise. Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings. He is such a gentle yet strong person inside and out. Is able to take direction and is wise and humble. Was loved by everyone on the set and captivated millions with his portrayal. Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. Steve Carell as Michael Scott in The Office US. Not quite as popular as the others but Tony Shalhoub as Adrian Monk. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in Tombstone. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. I can't imagine anyone else in the role. Lucy Lawless as Xena Warrior Princess. I cannot imagine another woman that could carry that role. Ian McShane as Al Swearingen in Deadwood. Giancarlo Esposito Gus Fring. Rainn Wilson Dwight Schrute. Timothy Oliphant as Raylan Givens. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Hell, even the comics said it. David Bowie as Jareth the Goblin King in Labyrinth. It's even better if you know that they considered Michael Jackson for the role. Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Robin Williams as Mork. Pretty much RW in any role he was cast. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy Summers. Nobody else could have pulled it off. Babylon 5 Peter Jurasik and Andres Katsoulis as Lando and G'Kar. Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Sir Ian McKellen as Gandalf. I remember seeing him in Fellowship and excitedly telling my dad that's Gandalf. Robert Duvall and Michael Caine in Second-Hand Lions. Jim Carrey as the Grinch. Henry Cavill as Gerald of Rivia. Heath Ledger as the Joker. Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Danny DeVito as the Penguin in Batman 2. The entirety of Ted Lasso. Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West. Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock. Keanu Reeves as John Wick. Johnny Depp in Edward Scissorhands. It's a role, like so many already listed, where I can't picture another actor playing the role. Jeffrey from GOT. I wanted to reach through the screen and strangle that little fuck. He did an incredible job. The entire cast of Arrested Development really. Michael Kenneth Williams Omar on The Wire. James Gandolfini Tony Soprano. Steve Buscemi and William H. Macy in Fargo. Samuel L. Jackson Jules in Pulp Fiction. Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. X-200B. I could keep going. Chris Hemsworth as Thor. James Earl Jones as Thulsa Doom in Conan the Barbarian. Alan Rickman in Die Hard, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Dogma, the Harry Potter series. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. That weird combination of charm and lack of humility. I don't think anyone could have done it as well. Keanu Reeves as Neo in The Matrix. No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh, Josh Brolin as Llewellyn Moss. Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. Bob Odenkirk as Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill. The ensemble cast of Lord of the Rings. Ian McKellen as Gandalf in particular. Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch, Peter O'Toole as T.E. Lawrence. Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. Felt like I watched a performance of a lifetime. He absolutely nailed it. Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock. Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison in The Doors. Entire Babylon 5 cast and Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Joe Keery as Steve in Stranger Things. Ed O'Neill as Al Bundy. Tim Curry as Dr. Frankenfurter. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Charlie Cox as Daredevil. Elodie Young as Elektra. I just really loved their portrayals. David Hyde Pierce as Dr. Fraser Crane's brother, Dr. Niles Crane. Angelica Houston as Morticia. Michael Richards as Kramer. Matthew McConaughey in True Detective. Rainn Wilson as Dwight Schrute. You could say pretty much every other Office cast member. But he gives such a unique, distinct performance that I can't help but single him out. Carl Urban as Billy the Butcher. The TV show ended up better than the comics. Daniel Radcliffe as M.F. Potter. Sir Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard. But in TNG though. Not this rebooted crap. X-200B. Fun fact: Whoopi Goldberg was the only other cast member in TNG he was nervous about working with. Until then. He had never worked with an Oscar winner. By this time, Whoopi had already won an Oscar for The Color Purple Ghost. Richard Harris as Dumbledore in the first 2 Harry Potter movies. Exactly how I pictured his looks and voice in the books. Rip Richard Harris, face holding back tears. Chris Evans as Captain America.